I never thought I would see her again. Not after what I did. Not after I erased myself from her life like I never existed. But there she was, standing at my door on a Saturday evening 1 year after I disappeared. Stephanie, my ex-wife, the woman who shattered everything I believed in. She found me, and what she wanted. That was the part I never saw coming. Her eyes looked different, desperate, broken, nothing like the confident woman I once knew. She said she needed to talk. She said she'd been searching for months. But to understand why I vanished without a word, you need to know where this all began. Before I tell you how I vanished without a trace, let me know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you have ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted, completely hit that like button and subscribe, because what I am about to share might change how you think about second chances forever. Now let me take you back to when my world was still intact. My name is Vernon, 32 years old, mechanical engineer at a manufacturing company in Denver, Colorado. For 3.5 years, I was married to Stephanie. She was 29, sharp as a knife, worked as a marketing manager at a tech firm downtown. We met 5 years ago through mutual friends at a Red Rocks concert. Summer night, amazing music. And there she was. Dark hair pulled back, laughing at something her friend said. We talked for hours. By the end of the night, I knew she was different. Our life together felt solid, real. Every Friday, we would cook together. She would make the pasta, I would handle the sauce. We had this ritual where we would open a bottle of wine and just talk about our week. Sundays were for hiking. We would drive up to Mount Evans or hit the trails around Boulder. Fresh air, good conversations, no distractions. On our second wedding anniversary, we drove to Montana. Spent a week in a cabin by Flathead Lake. No cell service, just us. We talked about buying a house in the suburbs, maybe Littleton or Arvada. We wanted 2 kids, a dog, the whole picture. I trusted her completely. She was my best friend, my partner. When I came home stressed about a project deadline, she would sit with me, listen, help me think it through. When she had a bad day at work, I was there. That was us. Solid. Or so I thought. About 8 months before everything fell apart, things started shifting. Stephanie got promoted. Senior marketing manager, bigger salary, more responsibility, more travel. I was proud of her, really. She worked hard for that position. But with the promotion came changes I did not expect. Suddenly she was flying to Chicago every other week. Portland, sometimes Austin. Business trips, she said. Client meetings. Strategy sessions. I believed her because why would I not? Then I started noticing smaller things. Things that seemed innocent at first. She put a passcode on her phone. We never had passcodes before. Our phones just sat on the counter, open, no secrets. When I asked about it, she said her company required it for security. Made sense, I guess. But then she started taking her phone everywhere. To the bathroom, to the kitchen when she got water. Even when we watched TV, she would keep it face down on her lap, checking it every few minutes. Dinner times changed too. We used to sit at the table, no devices, just talking. Now she would glance at her phone mid-conversation. A notification would light up the screen and her whole face would shift. She would grab it, read something, then say it was just a coworker. Late nights became normal. She would come home at 9, sometimes 10. Client dinners, she explained, team meetings that ran long. Her company was growing fast, demands were high. I tried to be understanding. This was her career. I wanted to support that. But then the distance grew in other ways. Intimacy disappeared. We went from being close connected to barely touching. When I tried to initiate, she would say she was exhausted, too much on her mind, work stress. I would offer to give her a shoulder massage, try to help her relax, but she would just smile tiredly and say she needed sleep. Weeks turned into months. I started wondering if something was wrong with me. Was I not attractive anymore? Not interesting, I tried harder. Cooked her favorite meals, planned date nights. Nothing changed. She stopped sharing about her day. Before she would come home excited, telling me about campaigns she was working on, frustrations with her team, funny things that happened in meetings. Now, when I asked how work was, she would just say, fine, good, busy. One-word answers. Then she would retreat to her phone or turn on Netflix. We existed in the same space but lived separate lives. I felt it. That slow, sinking feeling that something was breaking. But I pushed it down. Told myself it was a phase. Marriage has rough patches, right? This was temporary. Then came the night that cracked everything open. It was a Thursday evening. Late September. Stephanie had told me she was flying to Chicago that morning for meetings coming back Sunday. I was working from home finishing up some CAD drawings for a client project. Around 7 p.m., I went to the kitchen to grab coffee. Her laptop was on the dining table, still open. She must have forgotten to close it before she left. The screen was dim but active. As I walked past, a notification popped up. iMessage. The preview showed a name, just the letter J, and the message read, "Cannot wait to see you tonight. Room 504, like always." Then a red heart emoji. I froze. My hand hovered over the laptop. My brain scrambled to make sense of it. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was innocent. But room 504. Like always, I clicked on the message thread, but it was locked. Needed her password. I stared at that screen for what felt like an hour, but was probably 2 minutes. Then I closed the laptop and walked away. My hands were shaking. I did not sleep that night. I kept replaying that message in my head, trying to find an explanation that made sense. Maybe Jay was a female coworker. Maybe it was about a work event. But the heart. The tone. It felt wrong. By the time morning came, I had made a decision. I was not going to confront her yet. I needed to know for sure. Because if I was wrong, accusing her would damage everything. But if I was right, I needed proof. The following week, I started looking, carefully. I checked our shared credit card statements online. There were charges from the Hyatt Regency in Chicago, room service, bar tabs. But her company already covered hotel expenses on her corporate card. Why was she using our personal card for a hotel? I Googled the address. It was a luxury hotel downtown, not the kind of place her company usually booked. They typically went with budget business hotels. This did not add up. I opened her Google Calendar, which we shared for coordinating schedules. There were blocks marked business dinner, but no details, no company names, no restaurant reservations listed, and there were blank time slots on weekends, hours unaccounted for. I felt sick. My mind kept swinging between denial and certainty. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe there was a logical explanation. But the evidence kept piling up. I went to her Facebook, scrolled through recent posts. She had checked in at a high-end steakhouse in Denver 2 weeks ago, tagged the location but no people, just a photo of a wine glass. The comment section had a bunch of likes, but one stood out. A guy named Jason Hartley. He commented, "Great seeing you." I clicked on his profile. 35 years old, sales director, same company as Stephanie. His profile picture showed a decent-looking guy, clean-cut, confident smile. Divorced, no kids, according to his bio. I remembered Stephanie mentioning a Jason once. She called him an annoying coworker who always tried to get her involved in sales initiatives. Annoying. That was the word she used. Now I understood why she said that. Guilt has a funny way of disguising itself as irritation. I spent the next month in quiet agony, watching, waiting, gathering information. I did not want to believe it. Part of me hoped I was wrong, that I was being paranoid. But the signs were everywhere. And then came the moment that destroyed any remaining doubt. Stephanie told me she was going to Portland for the weekend. Business retreat, Friday through Sunday. She packed her suitcase, kissed me on the cheek, and left early Friday morning. After she was gone, I logged into our iCloud family sharing account. We still had Find My iPhone enabled from years ago. I pulled up her location. My heart stopped. She was not in Portland. She was in Aspen, Colorado. I zoomed in. A ski resort. One of those luxury mountain lodges we had talked about visiting for our 5-year anniversary. We had planned to go there together, celebrate a milestone. Now she was there with someone else. I sat on the couch, stared at that little blue dot on the map. My wife, the woman I trusted, the woman I loved, spending a romantic weekend at the place we dreamed about, but with another man. I felt something inside me shatter, not just my heart, my belief in everything, in us, in the future we planned, in the life we built. It was gone, all of it. And in that moment, something else happened. A cold, clear calm settled over me. I was not going to cry. I was not going to beg. I was not going to fight for someone who chose to betray me. I was going to disappear. The next 2 weeks, I moved like a machine, methodical, emotionless. I had a plan, and I executed it with precision. First, I called a divorce lawyer, got a consultation. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, which meant I did not need to prove adultery to file. But I wanted documentation anyway. I took screenshots of the credit card charges, the iCloud location data, the messages I could access. I printed everything, built a file. The lawyer walked me through the process, division of assets, how to file, what to expect. I signed the paperwork, got everything ready. Then I handled the finances. We had a joint checking account, joint savings, about $43,000 total. I withdrew half, $21,500, my fair share. Transferred it to a new account I opened at a different bank. I closed our joint credit cards, called the companies, explained I was separating, requested my own card. I rerouted my direct deposit paycheck to the new account. Everything clean, everything legal. While I was doing this, I was also planning my escape. I had always wanted to live in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest. Mountains, water. Good tech jobs, different energy. I started applying to engineering positions there. Within a week, I had 3 interviews. 2 weeks later, I had an offer. Aerospace company, designing components for commercial aircraft. The salary was 20% higher than what I was making in Denver. I accepted immediately. Found a studio apartment in Capitol Hill through a virtual tour. Paid the deposit. Hired a moving company for the following month. Stephanie had no idea. She came home from her trips, smiled, kissed me hello, and continued living her double life. I played along, asked about her meetings, listened to her lies. Inside, I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just cold determination. I was a ghost already. I just had not left yet. The day I chose to disappear was a Friday. Stephanie announced she was going to Chicago again, Thursday night through Monday morning. Perfect. Thursday night, after she went to bed, I stayed up late. Made a list of everything I needed to do. Friday morning, she left for the airport at 6 a.m., kissed me goodbye, said she would call me later. I watched her car pull out of the driveway. Then I got to work. I called my boss, told him I had a family emergency, needed to leave town immediately. He was understanding, told me to take the time I needed. I had already given my 2 weeks' notice the day before, effective immediately, so this just expedited my exit. Then I called the moving company. They arrived at 10 a.m., 3 guys with a truck. I had already packed my clothes, my laptop, my guitar-framed photos of my family, my books, personal items, things that were mine before the marriage. I left everything we bought together: the couch, the TV, kitchen appliances, furniture. I did not want any of it. Those things carried memories I did not want to take with me. By 2 p.m., the truck was loaded. I walked through the empty house one last time. Our bedroom, the kitchen where we used to cook together, the living room where we watched movies. I felt nothing, just relief. On the dining table, I left 3 things: the divorce papers signed and notarized, a sealed envelope with a check for $21,500, her half of the savings, and a handwritten note on plain white paper. It said, "You know why. Do not contact me. My lawyer will reach out." That was it. No explanations, no accusations, just the truth she already knew. Before I walked out, I changed my phone number, deleted my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, deactivated my old email, blocked Stephanie and every mutual friend we had on every platform. I did not want her to find me. I did not want anyone to tell her where I went. I wanted to vanish completely. And I did. I got in my car, a 12-hour drive ahead of me, and I left Denver behind, left the marriage, left the betrayal, left everything. By the time Stephanie got home Monday evening, I was already in Seattle, starting over. The first 3 months were hard, not because I missed her, but because I was rebuilding myself from scratch. New city, new job, new apartment, everything unfamiliar. My studio was small, maybe 400 square feet, but it had a view of Puget Sound. I could see the water from my window. That helped. Mornings I would make coffee and just stare at the gray-blue water, watching ferries cross back and forth. It was peaceful. Work kept me busy. The aerospace company was intense. Tight deadlines, complex projects, high standards. But I liked it. It gave me structure, purpose, something to focus on that was not my failed marriage. I threw myself into it, stayed late, took on extra assignments. My manager noticed, told me I was doing great work. That validation felt good, like I was worth something again. Outside of work, I focused on myself. Joined a gym 3 blocks from my apartment. Started lifting weights 5 days a week. I'd always been in decent shape, but now I was intentional about it. Push day, pull day legs. I followed a program, tracked my progress. Over 6 months, I gained 15 pounds of muscle. My clothes fit differently. I felt stronger, not just physically, mentally. Sunday mornings, I would go for long runs along the waterfront, Alki Beach, Discovery Park. The air smelled like salt and pine. I would run until my legs burned and my lungs ached, and then I would sit on a bench and just breathe. Those moments alone staring at the ocean were when I felt most at peace. No one knew me here. No one knew my story. I was just Vernon, a guy living his life. That anonymity was freeing. By month 4, I started making friends. My coworker Marcus invited me to go hiking in the Cascade Mountains. We climbed Mount C on a Saturday. Brutal hike, steep switchbacks, 4,000 feet of elevation gain. But the view at the top was worth it. We sat on the rocks, ate sandwiches, talked about life. Marcus was a good guy. Divorced 2 kids he saw every other weekend. He understood starting over. We became friends, started hiking regularly. He introduced me to other people. I joined the company softball team, went to happy hours. Slowly, I built a social life. By month 7, I was thriving, got promoted to senior engineer, led a major project designing a new wing component for a regional jet. The project was high profile. If we succeeded, it would be a huge win for the company. I worked 16-hour days sometimes, but I loved it, felt alive, valued. My manager told me I had a future here, leadership potential. That meant something. It meant I was not just surviving, I was succeeding. Around month 9, I started dating casually. Nothing serious, just coffee dates, dinners. I matched with a woman named Amy on Hinge. She was a 3rd-grade teacher, sweet, easy to talk to. We went out a few times. Walked around Pike Place Market, got drinks at a rooftop bar. She made me laugh. I liked her. But I was not ready for anything serious, and I told her that. She understood. We kept it light, fun, no pressure. By the time a year had passed since I left Denver, I was a different person. Physically, I had gained muscle, gotten tan from all the outdoor activities. Mentally, I was stronger, more confident. I did not check Stephanie's social media anymore, did not wonder what she was doing, did not dream about the past. I had let it go. She was a chapter I closed. Seattle was my fresh start, and I was happy, truly happy. For the first time in years, I felt free. Then came that Saturday evening. I was getting ready to meet Amy for dinner. We were trying a new Thai place in Capitol Hill. I had just gotten out of the shower, was putting on a button-down shirt when I heard it. The doorbell. I was not expecting anyone. Marcus sometimes dropped by unannounced, but he usually texted first. I walked to the door barefoot, still buttoning my shirt, looked through the peephole, and my entire body went cold. Stephanie, standing in the hallway of my apartment building, in Seattle, 1,000 miles from Denver, 1 year after I disappeared. I just stood there, frozen, staring at her distorted face through the peephole. How did she find me? I'd erased everything, changed my number, deleted social media, moved to a different state. How I opened the door slowly. She looked up. Her face was different, thinner, tired, dark circles under her eyes. Her hair, usually styled perfectly, was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She was wearing jeans and an old sweater. No makeup. The designer handbag she used to carry everywhere looked worn, scuffed. She stared at me. Her eyes went wide. I saw shock register on her face. I knew why. I did not look like the man she remembered. I was bigger, stronger, confident. She opened her mouth, closed it, then finally spoke. "Vernon, I finally found you." I kept my voice calm, steady. "How did you find me?" "I hired someone, a private investigator. It took months, tracing your bank accounts, your job applications. Can I come in?" "Please." I did not move from the doorway. "No. What do you want?" She looked down, swallowed hard, then looked back up at me. Her eyes were wet. "I need to talk to you. About everything. About us." "There is no us," I said. "There has not been for a year. You signed the divorce papers. It is done. I know I messed up. Vernon, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Jason, She stopped, took a breath. "He left me 3 months after you disappeared. Said he was not ready for anything serious. I was alone, lost my friends. My family barely talks to me. Work has been hell. I got demoted because of the whole situation. Everyone knew. The scandal. Dating a coworker. It ruined my reputation. I am struggling, Vernon, financially, emotionally. I have been trying to get my life back together, but I cannot. And I realized I lost the one person who actually cared about me. I lost you." I stood there, listening to her unload this. Part of me, a very small part, felt a flicker of sympathy. But mostly, I felt nothing. She made her choices. She lied. She cheated. She destroyed what we had. Now she was dealing with the consequences. That was not my problem. Stephanie, I said quietly, I am sorry you are struggling, but that is not my responsibility anymore. Her face crumpled. I know I do not deserve your forgiveness, but I am asking anyway. I want us to try again, to start over. I will do anything. Therapy. Whatever you need. I cannot do this without you. Then she said it. The real reason she was here. And Vernon, I am also really behind on rent. I got evicted from our old place. I am staying with a friend right now, but I cannot afford to get my own apartment. I need help. Just $10,000. To get back on my feet. Then I can figure things out. Please. And there it was, the shocking demand. She did not come here because she loved me. She came because she was desperate, broke, alone, and she thought I would be her safety net, her backup plan, the guy who would rescue her because I once cared. I felt a strange calmness wash over me, clarity. She had not changed. She was still manipulating, still using people. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just peace. I took a breath and spoke. Stephanie, I am going to say this once. What you did destroyed me for months. I trusted you completely. I built a life with you, and you threw it away for someone who did not even want you long term. That hurt. It broke me. But it also freed me, because I realized I deserved better than someone who could lie to my face every single day. I have built a new life here. I am happy. I am at peace. I have a career I love, friends who respect me. I am dating someone who treats me with honesty. I do not need you, and I do not owe you anything. You do not get to come back and ask for anything. Not my time, not my money, not my forgiveness as some kind of transaction to make yourself feel better. You made your choice. You chose Jason. You chose to lie. You chose to hurt me. Now you have to live with the consequences of those choices. I have moved on, and you need to do the same. She started crying. Real tears. Not the manipulative kind. But I did not budge. Vernon, please, I am begging you. I have nowhere else to go. That is not my problem, I said. My lawyer finalized the divorce 8 months ago. You signed the papers. We are legally done, emotionally done, completely done. I need you to leave. Now. She stood there for another moment. Her face shifted. Anger flashed in her eyes. You are cruel, she spat. I came all this way and you will not even help me. After everything we had, I repeated. You destroyed everything we had. You do not get to use our past as leverage now. Leave, Stephanie. I will not ask again. The anger faded, turned to desperation. She reached out like she was going to grab my arm. Vernon, please. I stepped back, closed the space in the doorway. Leave. She finally got it. I was not going to break. She dropped her hand, looked at me one last time, then turned and walked down the hallway. I watched her go, heard the elevator ding, watched the doors close, and then she was gone. I closed my door, leaned against it, took a deep breath, and smiled. I felt lighter, like I had just closed a chapter I did not even know was still open. I pulled out my phone, texted Amy. Still on for dinner, I have a story to tell you. She replied immediately. Absolutely. Cannot wait. See you in 20. I finished getting dressed, grabbed my jacket, walked out into the cool Seattle evening. As I walked to the restaurant, I thought about the past year. About everything I had been through, the pain, the betrayal, the decision to walk away. Some people might say I should have confronted Stephanie back then, had it out, fought for the marriage, but I knew better. You cannot fight for something when the other person has already given up. And walking away was not weakness, it was self-respect. Dinner with Amy was great. I told her the whole story. She listened, did not judge, just listened. At the end she said, I am glad you did not take her back. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not someone who only comes back when they have nowhere else to go. I smiled, agreed. We finished dinner, walked along the waterfront. The city lights reflected on the water. I felt grateful. For this life, for this moment, for the strength to walk away when I needed to. The following Monday I went back to work, dove into my project. The wing component design was almost complete. We were ahead of schedule. My manager pulled me aside. Told me the executives were impressed, asked if I would be interested in leading the next major project. A promotion, more responsibility, better pay. I said yes, because I was ready, I was capable, I was valued. That weekend, Amy and I drove to Olympic National Park, hiked through the Hoh rainforest, massive trees covered in moss, everything green and alive. We talked about our lives, our pasts, our hopes. She told me about her ex-husband, how he was emotionally absent, how she finally left because she realized she deserved better. I understood that. We sat by a river, ate sandwiches, watched the water rush over rocks. Life felt full, abundant, possible. Looking back now, I understand something I did not understand a year ago. Forgiveness does not mean giving someone another chance to hurt you. It means freeing yourself from their power over you. I do not hate Stephanie. I do not wish her harm, but I also do not owe her anything. Not my money, not my time, not my energy. She made her choices. I made mine. And my choice was to protect my peace, to value myself enough to walk away from someone who did not value me. Some people will betray you. Some will use you. Some will take your trust and shatter it into 1,000 pieces. But the moment you realize your worth, you stop letting them. You stop waiting for apologies that will never come. You stop hoping they will change. You stop sacrificing your peace for people who would not do the same for you. And you walk away, not out of bitterness, not out of revenge, but out of love for yourself. Ghosting Stephanie was not about punishing her. It was about protecting myself, about refusing to engage in a fight that would only drain me, about choosing my mental health over closure. Because sometimes the best closure is no contact at all, and I would make that choice again, every single time. A year ago, I disappeared. Today, I am more present in my own life than I have ever been. I wake up excited about my work, grateful for my friends, open to love. I am not bitter. I am not broken. I am whole, because I chose myself, and that choice saved me. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved because staying would have destroyed you? Have you ever chosen yourself when everyone else expected you to forgive and forget? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you found your strength. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories about resilience and self-respect. Share this with someone who needs to hear that walking away is not giving up. It is growing up. Thank you for listening. I hope you find the courage to protect your peace no matter what it costs. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.